Hi guys, Clara here, and today we're going to be making a secret mushroom fairy house. So I made 3 versions of this house, though the biggest one was actually one I made several years before I started my YouTube channel, so you won't see me make that one, but I will show you how to make the 2 miniature versions. And this wouldn't be a secret mushroom house without a compartment to hide your secret mushroom house. And this mushroom house wouldn't be complete without a compartment to hide your secret mushroom house. And don't worry, there's not another secret mushroom house, just some secret mushrooms. Now with our nesting mushroom houses out of the way, let's get started with one of our mushroom fairy houses. I'm starting off with a miniature glass jar with a metal lid. First thing we need to do is cover the jar in clay, so I'm using some liquid Sculpey to add to the bottom and sides of the jar. Then I can blend all the edges together and cut off the excess around the rim. Now we can start carving out the doors and windows for our house. Cutting out the shape of the windows and doors, then scooping them out. I'm using a large rounded ballpoint tool to smooth everything out and to give the clay a little bit of mushroom texture. Next, I want to make it look less like a jar and more like a mushroom, so I'm adding some ropes of clay to the bottom and smoothing those out so it has a wider base. Now after blending the clay out, I did notice there was some lint pieces trapped in the clay, so I'm just using 100% acetone and a Q-tip to clean up the clay before continuing. I'm using this light purple clay to roll out and shape into doors. I'm drawing on lines to make this a wooden door, and then I'm using this circular clay cutout to make a round window in the center. Next, I'm using this big circular clay cutout to make round shapes for the window shutters, and cut those in half. And these are all the doors and the shutters made, and I'll pre-bake these for about 20 minutes. The next thing I'm making for this house are tiny little mushrooms to place along the sides as stepping stones or window covers. So I'm just using a dark purple blob and squishing on a white blob in the center, creating some mushroom texture, not sure what you'd call that, and cutting in half, then covering them in dots until I have lots of mushrooms. Now I also rolled out a lot of tiny little clay balls in various shades of purple and gray, and these will be decoration for the doors and windows. It was definitely very tedious work, and I'm not sure if it was worth it. I feel like it might look a little bit too busy, but I don't know, maybe that's just me and I've been staring at it too long. So you can definitely skip this step or pick an easier design. Once the window details are on, I'm adding all the mushrooms along the side of the house. Then it's time to add the shutters with a little liquid Sculpey to stick them on. I place some shutters open and some closed just for some variation. Now it's time to move on to the mushroom head. So I'm scrunching up a ball of tin foil into a dome shape, and I'm smashing that into place with my roller. Then I'm just using some super glue to attach it to the lid, and then smearing some liquid Sculpey on before laying some dark purple clay on top of it. I'm rolling that up around the edges and then cutting off any excess. So now I have the basic shape of my mushroom head, and now I'm just extending the lip with another rope of dark purple clay. Once that's blended out, I'm using a thin layer of white clay to add all the way around, smoothing that in and adding some more mushroom texture with my sculpting knife. Now I can finally add the dots on top of the mushroom with white clay pressed in with a ball-pointed tool. Then both pieces are off to the oven to be baked for 1 hour. And since it's glass, I'm putting it in the oven while the oven's cold and preheating with the clay inside. Then I'm letting the oven cool completely before removing. Then moving on to our even smaller secret fairy mushroom house. It's much of the same steps, just more miniature. I'm using this tiny glass bottle with the cork in it. So I'm coating this in liquid Sculpey again, adding clay to the bottom and the sides and blending those out. Then adding another rope of clay to the bottom to create a wider base. Then I'm using my medium ball-pointed tool to add texture and cut out the door and window shapes. I'm using a very small circular cutter, which was very tedious. I think this one actually turned out to be my favorite, but maybe because it's just so small. I'm also cleaning this one off with 100% acetone as well, just because it can't seem to escape the lint. And if I thought putting those window details on before was hard, it gets worse. This is when I really started to question my methods. I feel like it would still look good if I put a tiny little rope of clay around it and then just pressed in a texture for stone. So maybe if you want to recreate that, you can follow those steps instead of the ones I'm taking. But again, I'm making those mini mushrooms as stepping stones and window covers for the house, even smaller version than before, and adding those wherever I think it'll look nice. And then I also made the doors and the shutters off camera and pre-baked those again for 20 minutes before adding. I tried adding them before baking, but they ended up just like squishing into the clay and losing all the texture, so I had to rip those out and redo them, then bake them. And once all the details on, it's into the oven for 1 hour, again putting it in before preheating. It does turn out a little darker, but that's just because I used the original Sculpey. But I think it works for what I'm using it for, because I think it looks more like a mushroom now. Anyway, onto the mushroom head, I'm just squishing a ball of purple clay onto the cork after I added some liquid Sculpey to ensure it stays. Then a ring of white to add to the bottom of the mushroom head before adding some texture with my sculpting knife. Then I'm just doing a test fit to make sure it looks good and to also get an imprint of the top so that it fits better when I put it on after it's baked. Then just adding all the different size dots on top of the mushroom, and that goes in the oven as well. And here they are together, and look how cute that is. And this is my medium mushroom house in all its glory. And look at that, secret compartment. I know you didn't see the big one much, but as much as I really love the mini one, I think I'll always like the original the best, with the painted details and not clay details. But anyway, that's all the mushroom houses I have for you today. Hopefully you enjoyed. Let me know which one was your favorite, and let me know what you'd hide in your mushroom. But I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!